Y'all, I am standing in a sea of power sports, and in today's video we are going to test a few dual sport motorcycles. Which one just might make it into my garage today? I think the dual sport's gonna be fun. Let's go. That's right, friends, I am at Chapman, Paris, Honda, Yamaha. They've got every kind of side-by-side and dirt bike. Take a look around the dealership. All right, I've got Parker here with me from Paris. Chapman's
Paris, Honda, Yamaha.
Chapman's Paris, I don't know why I have such a hard time with that. Chapman's Paris, Honda, Yamaha, and we're basically gonna look at what you've got in here for your dual sport bikes. We're gonna ride, what, a couple Yamahas and Hondas?
Whatever, we got all of them.
Here we go. So from the Honda department, we're gonna be looking at, we'll definitely do the Africa Twin. Let's do the 250L. This is a 450. Yep. And this is a 250?
250, yes sir.
All right, so maybe try both of these. And what is this?
The WR250R.
WR250R. And now statistically, do you think this outruns the 250L, or do you think this is faster?
I think Yamaha faster.
Okay. All right, we'll ride it. And what about one of these?
Well, TW200.
Yeah, man, let's check it out. Good little trail bike. Maybe it'd be something good for Ashley. It looks like it's got a low seat height. She might dig that. Yeah, we'll try that too.
We'll go line them up outside and take them all on test rides.
Let's do it. In today's video, Harley Davidson American V-twin rider gets off-road with some dual sport Japanese motorcycles. So here's the deal. I'm all over the place on where to go on dual sport bikes. I myself am new to this. I did have like a 125 when I was a kid. I used to rip it around, but hell, Parker, that was 20 years. I was your age, younger maybe. And now it's like, what do I want? I know this much. I want to be able to ride all the dirt trails, all the miles of road that are off-road around my K-River campground. I do know I am going to Alaska this year, so a dual sport that can do long travels like the Africa Twin might make sense, but I mean, that's one trip. Do you want to buy a bike for one trip, or do you want to buy the bike that you're going to use all the time around the camp? That's my dilemma. So let's just work down the line and see what we got, guys. So this is the TW200. It's made by Yamaha, and from what I'm told, this motorcycle has been around for like 20 years. It's just a tried and true, simplistic, nothing fancy, just bang down the trails type motorcycle. Obviously, it is street legal, but I don't even know how fast this will go. Will it go fast enough to be on the street? Can I go 70 miles an hour on this thing?
Maybe 60.
So it's a back road only kind of motorcycle. Let's take it for a little ride. Obviously, I'm not a big fan of carbureted and the problems that come with it. So I'm just gonna ride this around your parking lot a little bit, and then if it's something that I feel like I want to even take to that level, we'll take it on the road. I'm gonna take out on the road here and see what the top speed is on something like this. I can say at this point, very well balanced, very simple to ride. If you were just learning off-road and just wanted to have fun, I think this would be a great option, and maybe something great for Ashley. I don't know. I'd maybe get her here to test it out, or do I just surprise her with it? Let's see. So it definitely vibrates. It did about 50 to 55, but it wouldn't hold 50 miles an hour even going up the exit ramp with my weight on it. As much fun and as balanced as this is, I can tell you right now, this bike is way too small for me, and certainly I don't think fast enough for Ashley either. So we're gonna move on to the rest of the list. So I think the next bike on the list we should do is work our way up. So you're telling me you think the Yamaha is faster than the Honda? So the seat's a big deal, so I just want to measure to the top of the seat and see what the standard height is. Say 35.5 inches. But when I sit on it, the suspension's pretty soft. It goes down 2 inches just sitting on it. I'm definitely gonna have to take this one on the road too. Let's do it. This one, completely different. So this is a completely different feel than this other bike. A lot less vibration. I could do 70 miles an hour, even with a little bit of an incline. But for me, what really did it for me was the suspension travel. This thing had travel that made it really fun and smooth. It's a light bike, it's easy to whip around. Again, not a ton of power. It's not gonna shock you with its power by any means. You can pin it in every gear without any concern. But off-road, I imagine that changes a bit. Seems a little bit more sketchy. Fun bike, very light, easy to throw around. I think this bike is like somewhere around the 300-pound mark, which seems to be an ideal off-road weight for me.
Like it?
Yeah, I liked it. That is a fun little bike. Tons of travel, super soft, not incredibly powerful, but...
Wait till you get on the WR.
All right, but the suspension is what I really liked about it. I mean, it was so plush. So this is the next one. This is the Yamaha. Ooh, it's much higher even to get on it. And the suspension has got like no give.
You can adjust it a little bit.
Let me say 36 inches with me sitting on it.
Oh,
So it's high. But look, I'm on my tippy toes. I'm 6'2", and I'm on my tippy toes. So this tells me this is a high performance machine, made for sending it over jumps and shit like that, which I won't be doing any of that. I'm just looking to get out and ride some really cool
Hey,
roads.
you never know.
You never know. All right, let's just try it around here once. Let me get a feel for it. So already I can feel a difference just in the engine. The riding, it was true, the suspension was much more difficult. Not more difficult, much stiffer, which is probably better for dirt biking, but let me get it up on the highway and let's see what it does up there. Power is the biggest difference between these two. Parker was 100% correct. So yeah, Parker was right, definitely a faster bike. I would say this one would do me up the ramp probably about 10 miles an hour faster than the Honda 250. Where this one would do me probably about, 80, 85. That one was doing me 70, really 70, 72. So this bike is definitely, even though they're both 250s, way faster. One thing to consider when you're looking at these dirt bikes, what I'm told, is maintenance. So that's something I'm gonna try to learn here before we leave today, is how the maintenance compare. But as of right now, I think if I was gonna totally be trying to rip off-road hardcore, I would take this over that Honda for sure. But if I was gonna do just more cruising, I think the Honda is probably a little bit more my speed. Next, we're looking at the 450L by Honda. This, I think, from what I've read online, people were more excited for the release of this bike than any other dual sport Honda has put out, at least from what I can see online. But then people were just super disappointed because the sticker price was so high. I think they're around 10 grand for one of these things, where those other bikes are around $5,000 or $6,000 each, almost double the price of anything I've already ridden. But it's supposed to be high performance, it's supposed to be like the best thing for a true off-road dual sport motorcycle. I'm gonna take it for a ride right now, tell you what I think. So I would say the suspension is probably right between the Honda 250 and the Yamaha as far as softness and sag sitting on it. I'm a little bit more flat-footed than I was on the Yamaha, but the stance is great. The handlebars are up higher. Everything feels more put together like a real motorcycle. And just in the parking lot, this power was stupid fast. Let's see what it's like on the road. The top speed on this, I think, was close to the same as that. The real difference I felt was the torque getting to that top speed. The torque on this bike, I would say, is by far the torquiest. I could see why everybody's so excited for it. Right out of the gate, I could tell how powerful this machine was. I was a little surprised to find the top end between the Yamaha 250 and this one pretty close to the same. But it was, like I said earlier, the speed getting there got the top speed so much faster. And it just felt more like a full-sized motorcycle. It felt more substantial underneath me. If I was gonna take a trip, any type of distance, this, out of all of these I've ridden so far, would be the bike I'd want to take it on. Certainly impressive power. And the suspension, again, I've kind of felt it to be right in the middle of the Honda 250 and the Yamaha 250. It was stiff enough that you could tell you were on something serious, but yet had a little bit more give. This is a fun bike. This bike, I feel like, is something you'd be happy with forever if you got it. The other ones, I feel like, as you got more skilled, you may want to trade up. Last but not least, we're gonna try the Africa Twin. The Africa Twin is well known around the world as an adventure motorcycle. This is something competing with like your BMW GSs, things like that. It's more of an adventure motorcycle. This is more of a cross-country tour bike. You can kind of tell by the style tires that are on it. I think if I got this bike, I'd want to go to some knobbies right away because I'd play with it more off-road than anything else. I think it's a good 200 pounds heavier than the 450 and maybe even a little more than that on the 250. We'll compare those in the end. But a lot more plastic. You're gonna do more damage if you drop it. A heavier bike. but a 1000cc engine. This is over twice the 450 I just rode. You can feel the difference underneath you. It's an automatic, no clutch. Come on in here, look at the dash. So the dash is so much more impressive on this. It feels like a real motorcycle dash. You've got all your controls, your start button's right here. And I guess every time you start it, it goes back to neutral, which is pretty cool. Then you just start it, and then to put drive, you just push this button, and now you're in drive. Now you're in neutral. You've got all kinds of settings for torque and speed. And this is a true adventure touring motorcycle. I instantly can feel the difference from the other bike. Let's take it on the highway. This is a true touring dual sport motorcycle, without doubt. So the biggest thing I noticed with this being an automatic is no ability to really downshift. Now the engine braking did seem pretty substantial on its own, and you can downshift electronically here. You can actually turn this into automatic or manual. It's like a push button, kind of like it would be in like a car. I didn't really play with that at all. I just ran it strictly automatic. Definitely a cool motorcycle, a little bit weird not having a clutch. And I feel like in the dirt, I'd want that clutch, you know, to work it. It's almost like the electric, like the Zero motorcycle, just throttle and go. The difference is this is still shifting gears automatically, where the Zero is just one gear the whole way through. Certainly more substantial than any of these bikes if you're going down the road, but probably is not gonna perform as well in the dirt as that 450 or that 250. So the question I have to make, do I buy a motorcycle that I can get on the road and do tours on, or do I buy a motorcycle that I can rip around the hundreds of dirt trails and miles of dirt roads around my campground, the K River? Which one would you choose if they were all the same price and resold for the same price? Obviously, if they're all the same price, this one's gonna resell higher, right? All the same price right now, what would be the right bike for you, and what do you think I should choose? I am interested in hearing what y'all think, because this is completely new to me. Let's look at them again. So I can say that I believe both the Yamahas are out for me. I don't think either of these are it. Although I think this is a good medium ground for power between the 450 and the 250. I think it's just more of a real off-road racing style dirt bike, and that's not what I'm looking for here today. This one, just too slow, not powerful enough. So that leaves me the 250, the 450, and the Africa Twin. Out of just those three, what would be your bike? One thing you can see for sure is how much lower that 250 seat is. And then when you look at the back profile, you see how much more substantial that Africa Twin is, where these are more like dirt bikes. Then you got your 250. I just really don't know what to do. I'm torn, big time torn. Let's take a look at the stats. So the 450L versus the 250L, the biggest thing I can see is that it needs valve adjustments at completely different ratios. The 450L, every 1,600 miles, you are gonna be stuck doing a valve adjustment. It's about a $300 job. The 250L gets a valve adjustment every 16,000 miles. So literally 10 valve jobs, $3,000 of valve service before you have the first service done on the 250. Then you look at the prices, $10,399 for the 450. Of course, my friends at Paris Harley got these guys knocked down to $87.49. Pretty good deal. But on the 250, $55.79 down to $51.99. That's a big difference. You get two of these for the price of that. I mean, pretty close anyhow. That is officially, we're chopping the 450. It is now no longer on my list. It's just the maintenance and the first initial purchase price that is keeping me from that. So now we are down to the 250L and the Africa Twin. Check out this little 110. Listen, we had some fun on these this weekend when some guys showed up from Dallas to ride them in the campground. Why don't y'all take a look at that while I'm trying to make up my mind on my bike. Landed. I am the proud owner of a brand new machine from Chapman's Paris, Honda, Yamaha, and of course look what's on the back of their paperwork. Oh, my friends over at Law Tigers. Talking about two good companies. If y'all guessed what I landed on, I won't be surprised, but I just not gonna tell you myself. Let my boy Parker here.
African Twin.
Oh, that is right. Landed on the Africa Twin. This is the automatic I went with, and you know, I'm excited to try it, see how it goes. I think we're gonna do a lot of off-road stuff. This may be my Alaska bike this year. I'm planning on riding to Alaska. This may be what I take on it, but I'm gonna need some upgrading. We're gonna keep it here overnight, get some tires put on it. These tires are just a little too slick for the off-road work that we are gonna be putting in on this motorcycle, so we went with, what tires are you putting on it?
The Michelin Wild tire, the more aggressive tire.
Yeah, I think they're like a 60-40 maybe, 60% road, 40% off-road. They should do pretty good, and we should be tearing up some back roads before you know it. I'm a little nervous about the weight, kind of wanted something smaller, but at the end of the day, with the type of riding I do, traveling I want to do, I think this was the right choice. You guys helped me get through it, so. Much love, Paris, Chapman, Honda, and Yamaha, officially in Africa Twin riding.
There we go.
What's up? Listen, y'all, you want to follow my adventures across the dirt, across the nation on two wheels, whether it be dual sport or good old American V-twins, you can do so. Just go down and click that subscribe button and let's see what adventure we're on next. Of course, as soon as this mess we're in clears up, we can get out and do some traveling across the country, which I'm hopeful will come soon. We'll talk to y'all later, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video.